Okay, now we're going to do female legit vocalises. And these vocalises we're going to start with a short scale and a short range. So when you're warming up, you don't want to just go to your widest range exercise right off the bat and your most intense sound. You just want to do the zero entry approach where you're taking the next easy step, and it's kind of like the frog in the pot. Your voice is just getting warmer and warmer and warmer, and you almost can't even feel, you don't even feel like you're hardly working. So for the women, we're going to start in legit. I like to start with the most resonant vowel, and that is E. So we're just going to do some simple E slides. We're going to do several E vocalises on different scale patterns, and then we'll jump to some of the other vowels that we can do. So here we go. So let's just start with an E slide. E, E, and you can do this with me, or you can just watch this first time, and then I will just do individual recordings of each of these vocalises with me just going straight through with no explanation, and then there will be a piano scale underneath it that you can do it yourself. So I'm going to be stopping and starting a lot and explaining things so that you can understand what it is are the main points of this. So right now in classical, what I'm thinking of is the mouth shape is going to be slightly forward corners. Okay, you're just going to keep them slightly forward at all times, and the mouth is in just this generally round shape. Now when I pull forward for an oo, it's going to go way more forward, but for the E, it's going to be just E. And you might feel, as you get higher, you might feel this lifting a little more in the upper lip. So we'll just watch for that. You won't really feel the E open up in the jaw until the 2, 3, 4, E5, E flat 5, stuff like that. You might feel it a little opening on the C, but we're not going to go that far this first time. So I'm starting on a C major chord. We're going to do an E slide, E, and I want you to notice where my jaw is. The E just is not a very open vowel. Sorry. E, E. Can you hear the ring in that tone? E, it's just nice and light. Just like a 1/4 of an inch drop in my jaw on that when I hit the C on the top. You'll start seeing some more movement as I go. Sorry. No, I don't want to go too high. I'm going to go one more. You can see my jaw is really tight right there. Okay, but did you notice that once my top note hit the C, with each one you can see my jaw starting to open about a 1/4 inch on each succeeding half step as I'm going up, and then it has to grow even through the 5th again. But I was getting into really big jaw opening range, and that was just my first exercise, so I don't want to, you don't even need to go clear that high. Right now I'm just trying to warm up my tone nice and easy. We'll do a lot more jaw later. Okay, so there you go. So there's just a nice short range, short scale E. You can also go down if you want. E, so E, 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 G. Okay, so that's getting your lower, you're getting the balance on the high and the low. Okay, and now we're going to do, we're going to stay on that 5-tone scale, and we're just going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 down. Wee, 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 wee. So now we're involving the lips a little bit, some lip articulation. Wee, 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 wee. 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 Wee, 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 that to a C sharp. Okay, so now we're ready to open up the E just a little bit. I'm going to do a down arpeggio. Wee, 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 wee. 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 Now that's up to a G. Now I'm going to jump clear up to a high C and start from the top down. And so what I need to do is I need to just inhale on an oo, because I'm going to do a wee, and the vowel of the W is an oo. So wee, and then I'm going to open right up into an E, and you can see how high my tongue is and how open my jaw is. And the jaw is spreading. When I'm inhaling on a classical, I'm yawning, which is stretching the soft palate tight like a drum, and my molars are opening in the same way as the belt. Wee! Wee! And you can see that I'm showing a lot of teeth on a high C, on a classical female E. There's a lot of teeth. Wee, wee, wee. 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 Now, if I didn't have all that space up there, I would have to, if my mouth wasn't open enough, I'd have to push. I'd have to squeeze. I'd squeeze everything back here to get that small space. And so I'm creating tension. But if I drop my jaw, I get the small space in the back with no tension. And that's why it's so important to drop the jaw. I just cannot emphasize enough mastering the art of dropping the jaw, of doing it correctly, okay? And enough. It's always going to be in the high range more than you think you need. So, wee! Wee! So just go for it, right? Just open on up. Wee! Wee! So you see I've got that perfect small space back there, grabbing those high tones, because my jaw's down, and because my jaw's so far down, it releases all of these muscles in here, and my larynx is free and not tense from the squeezing if my jaw is up, okay? So it's not even the jaw. You know, we talk about how, oh, this is so tight, this is tight, you know, and your jaw is making the sound bad. It's not your jaw that's making the sound bad. It's because you have to squeeze all these other muscles to get any sound out. Does that make sense? Wee, 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 and then just notice how it's gradually closing on the high note more and more. And there I am on the low. Now, let me explain why when my jaw's like this and my throat is relaxed, I have a bigger resonating space, which is amplifying those lower tones. Isn't that interesting? Okay, you'd think that opening the jaw would create more space. It actually creates less space in the throat. So it's kind of a funny little twist there. Okay, now we're ready for some more advanced E's. So we're gonna go E. That's a great way to introduce melisma into your voice, and it will cross over and help you in your contemporary, just those really fast, rapid notes that you'll use in riffing in contemporary. I don't have any really good riffing exercises for contemporary. I need to go out and get some. But the classical ones will help you. Okay, so we've just done all the E's, and now let's go to, so now let's do some oohs. So you're gonna drop the jaw, and you're gonna hold it with the crook of your hand. Now this one is not how you're gonna do an ooh when you go to perform, but we've got to get this jaw open. Okay, so you're gonna drop it as far as you can, hold it with the crook, wrap your lips into a tight ooh, ooh, ooh. Now we're gonna go ooh, ooh. Now going up. Okay, that was up to a high C, and you can see how I'm really having to open my lips up there. There's just no way to keep that, to keep the lips like this the higher that you go. Even with your jaw down, you gotta pull the lips back to shorten the tube to grab those higher frequencies. Okay, so with that ooh, now let's go back to a normal ooh, as if we would use it in real singing. But before we leave that exercise, what it's teaching you to do is, besides just drop and release the jaw, which of course frees the larynx, is teaching you to start with a tiny center of sound in your ooh, so that you're not shoving this big open-throated ooh. It's going to be ooh, ooh. You're finding that thread in your sound. That's the start, the core of your sound. Okay, and so now let's drop it and let's do ooh, 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 ooh. Now going up. There's a saying in female classical singing that everything above an E is an ah. Like all your vowels turn into ahs as you go higher, and it's kind of true. You start adding ah to everything because you just have to open up so wide. Anyway, you can see that my lips are going and my jaw is going to more of an ah place. And then as I come down into the other ranges, I quickly shift back into the purity of the vowel that I'm singing. But I still try to hold a semblance of that shape of the vowel up there, specifically more with my tongue than anything, as much with the lips. So just be mindful of that, and don't worry if you have to move the furniture up there on the top notes. Does that make sense? Okay. So there's some oohs. Now e's and oohs are really, really good, but because they're on the top two ends of the vowel triangle, they're two of the primary vowels. But no warm-up is complete in legit unless you've added an ah. So now let's do some ahs. So we're gonna go E to, we're gonna do an exercise that goes from an E to an ah, so it helps you match your resonance. So we're going to go NG, because sometimes it's hard when you're first starting legit to grab the bright resonance on the ah. It gets really diffused because you've really got to shape all of the spaces in here to like pull that so that ah sound really converges nicely to then spread out and fill to amplify. So the helps you find the thread of sound, that small thread we're talking about. and it's not nasal, but you can feel it in the bones in the bridge of your cheekbones, right? And the bridge of your nose. And then you let your your tongue shape to the E. So can you see that nothing moved on the outside of my face? It was just my tongue on the inside. And now I'm going to keep my tongue in that E position and then drop into the ah. So here we go. Here we go. You don't need to take that one really high, but it's just to find your resonance on your ah, and once you found the resonance, then you can go to the other ah exercises. So now let's just do let's see. Okay, so we're gonna do an octave leap because we're pretty warm by now, so we're going to go ah. Here we go. Ah. Then there's some other warm-ups that you can do. You can do some interval vocalises, some rapid shifting in your vowels, like pick any two vowels and do this scale pattern. I like this one a lot because it takes E and U, which are the two vowels on the top of the vowel triangle, and they have the same jaw position, but they have completely opposite lip positions. So I really like to do a lip workout with these intervals, because they're tight intervals, and changing my lips really fast. It really strengthens those oo lips. So, now we'll go up. Now please notice and be very careful. I am not going see how I'm not spreading my corners? Yeah, just never spread your corners like this unless you're belting and you have to have the jaw drop to match the corner spread. It has to be proportional. Okay, your corners should never, if you measure from one corner to the other, it should never be wider than from top to bottom. Okay, in any style. All right, so don't do that to yourself because that puts your larynx in a tight spot. And it kills you on your passagios, and it squeezes your tone. So don't do that. All right, so here we go. E-U-E-U-E. E-U-E-U-E-U-E. Keeping the corners nice and in. E-U-E-U-E-U-E. E-U-E-U-E-U-E. But do you see how much, even from the top of the vocalise to the bottom, which is just a fifth or a sixth with the drop note, do you see how much the jaw changes? Do you see how much I'm releasing on those high notes? And then even by the bottom of just that one run, I'm back to the E here, but then I have to start over again. A. See how See what a big difference that makes? Okay, so I just want to point that out. All right, so those are some good classical warm-ups. They work the three major vowels. They work all kinds of different intervals, and they are mostly the sound that I was using. I wasn't using any kind of a light pop sound. These warm-ups that I'm giving you on this video are primarily for like Golden Age musical theater, so it's closer to opera, like heavier classical, but I really want you to do your best to find this place. It's not as important if you're going to use it or not, but it's really going to balance out your voice in terms of cross-training your voice, and it's going to give you an extreme so that you can come back, and so that when you come back and you want to use maybe a more mixed legit, like mixed vowels with the hum vocal cords, then you have the jaw ability to open. You can go full when you want, but you can also just go brighter, like so if I were to do one of these vocalises in more of like a mixed legit, I would be like wee 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 wee, or wee 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 wee. See how it's just not as rich and ringy, and the vowels just a little bit more bright than before. So you can, if you can go to the end of what I'm trying to get you to do, it'll be way easier for you to just come back somewhere in the middle and do those brighter vowels, because otherwise you're not going to be free. A lot of times when beginning classical students want to do the bright stuff, it's tight because they haven't learned how to release everything, like right? And so we just need to open up into that rich, full classical first to start, and then you can pull it back and still be nice and relaxed. All right, enjoy these vocalises.